Emeka Okra was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He grew up in Abia State, in a middle-class family where the struggle for survival was a constant companion. His father, a humble civil servant, passed away when Emeka was just a teenager, leaving a gaping hole in the family. Emeka, the eldest of 2 children, stepped into the shoes of a man too soon, determined to provide a better future for himself and his younger sister, Chidinma. The journey wasn't easy. Emeka worked part-time jobs while studying, sometimes juggling multiple responsibilities at once. He couldn't afford the luxuries that some of his peers enjoyed, but his dreams were far greater than his circumstances. After graduating with honors from the University of Abia State, Emeka packed his bags and moved to Abuja, hoping to carve a life for himself in the heart of Nigeria's political and economic power. What followed was nothing short of a rags-to-riches story. With determination, charisma, and strategic investments, Emeka quickly rose to prominence. Within a few short years, he was a billionaire, owning luxurious mansions in Asokoro, private jets, a yacht, and a fleet of expensive cars. His wealth seemed limitless. He had it all: money, influence, and the admiration of people from all over the world. But Emeka was missing one thing, the one thing money couldn't buy: true love. Enter Amaka, Emeka's beautiful, socialite fiancée. She was everything Emeka thought he needed in a partner: glamorous, charismatic, and alluring. Amaka enjoyed the high life just as much as Emeka did. She traveled the world with him, attending high-profile parties, shopping at designer stores, and basking in the luxury that came with being Emeka's fiancée. Emeka showered her with gifts, diamonds, luxury bags, designer clothes. He gave her everything a woman could ever ask for. But Amaka's love was never truly his. What Emeka didn't know was that Amaka had a secret. She wasn't just seeing Emeka. She was also in a relationship with Eric, a man who had no interest in love. Eric was using Amaka for one thing: money. He lived off the lavish gifts and expensive vacations that Emeka funded. When Emeka wasn't around, Eric was by Amaka's side, enjoying the lifestyle that came with being connected to a billionaire. Eric, never satisfied, had a plan, a dangerous, greedy plan. He wanted more, much more. He convinced Amaka to join him in a scheme that would make them rich beyond their wildest dreams. Together, they would dupe Emeka out of a large sum of money, then escape to the UK to live freely, away from Emeka's watchful eye. Amaka, torn between her loyalty to Eric and her affection for Emeka, agreed. And so, the plot began. Emeka, though deeply in love with Amaka, began to notice strange behaviors, things he couldn't ignore. Amaka's unexplained absences, her constant need for secrecy, the lies she told to cover up her whereabouts, all of it started to add up. Driven by his suspicions, Emeka started investigating. What he discovered shattered him to his core. The woman he loved, the woman he had trusted with everything, was planning to betray him in the worst way possible. Amaka and Eric had been plotting to take his money and run. Heartbroken and disillusioned, Emeka could no longer ignore the truth. Every woman who had come into his life seemed more interested in his wealth than his heart. His worst fear was coming true. He had been loved not for who he was, but for what he had. Emeka, devastated but determined not to let Amaka and Eric succeed, decided to play along with their plan. He pretended to be unaware of their scheme, giving them enough rope to hang themselves. He continued to shower Amaka with affection, all while secretly preparing to expose them. The day came when Emeka finally confronted them. He had all the evidence. Amaka, Eric, it's over, he said quietly, his voice laced with pain. You both think you fooled me, but I've known for a while now. You betrayed me. The police arrived shortly after, arresting Amaka and Eric for fraud and conspiracy. They had underestimated Emeka, who, despite his wealth, still had a heart of gold. He wanted love, not money. Emeka's heart was broken, but he refused to give up on love. Despite all he had accomplished, Emeka still longed for someone who would love him for the man he was, not for his wealth. His mother, concerned about his loneliness, often urged him to settle down, but Emeka knew he had to find someone who saw beyond the billionaire persona. Determined to find love without the trappings of his fortune, Emeka disguised himself. With the help of a close friend, he moved to Lagos and got a job as a cleaner at a local bank. No one knew him as a billionaire. He was just Emeka, the quiet, hard-working man cleaning the floors. The atmosphere at the bank wasn't exactly friendly. Many of his colleagues were rude, arrogant, and dismissive of him. But there was one person who stood out, Uche, a kind-hearted, beautiful woman who worked in the office. Unlike the others, Uche took pity on Emeka and treated him with kindness. She noticed how hard he worked, how he never complained despite the way others treated him. Emeka, though initially hesitant, couldn't help but be drawn to her. She was unlike anyone he had met before, genuine, humble, and full of compassion. Slowly, their friendship grew. They bonded over shared experiences, including the fact that they had both graduated from the University of Abia State. Uche admired Emeka's strength and humility, unaware of his true identity. To her, he was simply Emeka, the man who treated her with respect and made her laugh. She had never been interested in wealth or status. What mattered to her was finding a man who would treat her well, someone who valued love above all else. One evening, while working late at the bank, Uche walked into the manager's office to submit a report. She froze in shock when she saw Emeka sitting there with the bank manager, relaxed, his feet on the table, holding a glass of drink. Her mind raced. What was going on? She couldn't understand it. Emeka, the quiet cleaner, seemed like a completely different person. Confused and overwhelmed, Uche avoided Emeka for days. But her curiosity got the best of her. Finally, she confronted him. Emeka, sensing the tension, decided it was time to tell Uche the truth. He shared his painful story, the betrayal by Amaka, his journey to find love, and the heartbreak that had shaped him. Uche, though shocked, took time to process the revelation. It was a lot to take in, but with time, she calmed down and understood. Emeka had found someone who truly loved him for who he was, not for his fortune. He had found a woman who saw him as a person, not a prize to be won. Emeka, overwhelmed with happiness, proposed to Uche. They were married in a simple but beautiful ceremony, surrounded by friends and family who genuinely cared for them. Together, they built a life based on love, trust, and mutual respect. Emeka had found the woman he had been searching for all along. As for Amaka, she was left to face the consequences of her actions. She had lost everything: her wealth, her future with Emeka, and most importantly, her chance at true love. Moral lesson: true love cannot be bought. It is not found in wealth, status, or material things. The foundation of real love is built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. Never settle for someone who only loves you for what you can give them, but seek someone who sees and cherishes the real you. Did you enjoy this story? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Story Parlor.